Happy New Year to the people that have downloaded this podcast and are listening or watching this podcast. Sam Perry, Happy New Year to you, to yours, the things you own, your possessions, bits and pieces, the things around you. Congratulations.
Hey. I receive, I Hadouken it back to you and to everybody listening, watching, consuming, however they do.
Yeah.
Braille, whatever.
TJC Braille. Can you feel it on your fingertips?
Happiest of New Year's to everybody. I don't want to indulge in any further,
People have downloaded this podcast and they're thinking, oh, that's a nice.
That's nice.
What they're saying is, shut the fuck up and talk about the fucking thing that I want you to say.
Yeah. They're sitting there go, what are their sentiments towards us upon this new year arriving? Vis-a-vis the old new year. Are they wishing us a happy one? Safe? Prosperous?
It is January 1 today. And tomorrow we're going to Sydney to do our biggest ever live show at the End Mall. We are so excited to be in Sydney to see the faces of people that have bought tickets or have scalped tickets or have got themselves onto a guest list. We're so excited that the following night we're in Brisbane at the Princess Theatre and then we're in Freo, Pezza. That's all happening at the same time as the third test match here. David Warner's farewell test match and in many ways his farewell ODI. So that is all to come here and our support for this program comes via Patreon, patreon.com/Great Cricketer. But where, Pezza, we have got 4,000 members at patreon.com/Great Cricketer. And let me tell you, it is kicking off hard. People have been lying down, as Tom and Eddie would say from Hello Sport, horizontal season.
Yes.
And they have been texting hard. They've been breathing in the cricket, not paying any attention to it. But they've been getting around Patreon as well.
Yeah, dog. No, 4,000 was a nice number to see. Now, just to be clear, I want to
love me, Daddy,
and spank me. I'd like to, I start on a note of concern and negativity.
Perfect.
For some reason, Patreon's permitting free members. You can't switch it off.
Yeah.
If you're a free member of TGC Patreon, it's a waste of time. You get nothing, and we don't respect you all. So we're at 4,000. For those who are kind of dipping a toe in the water, there's about 500 of you or so.
Yeah,
but just make the switch.
We've been pumping up. We've been pumping hard.
Does that sell it?
Yeah. We've been pumping hard, Pezza. The Enmore show tomorrow night at the Enmore there in Sydney. 1,600 tickets sold. We have sold out the Enmore, Pezza. I want to say congratulations to you, to yours, the things you own, your possessions.
Mate. Yeah, ruined. Congratulations.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've done it. We've actually sold every single ticket available. Now, this feels very suck-offy and uncomfortable, but it's so exciting in what is basically a dog shit summer. To have that many people come and see us talk about the cricket and tell some jokes in the meantime. So we are so excited to finish our tour in Sydney, Brisbane, and over there in Perth in the next 3 days. That's fucking exciting. It's fucking cool. Thank you so much for having bought a ticket and it's going to come along. And we did the Forum. We did Adelaide the week before that. That was awesome. Adelaide, sensational vibes. Adelaide always brings it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but they bring it. Ice mainly.
Yeah, something's being brought. Yeah. Well, Adelaide was the place where I think at our first ever live show, some reference to cocaine was made in the crowd,
which is a rarity.
And somebody yelled out "smack a bag," which actually caused all of us on stage to stop and start exploring the etymology of the verb,
including Ed Cowell.
Yeah, to smack a bag. What does that mean?
Yeah.
And then somebody else suggested that the cocaine was icy.
It was icy,
right? Yeah. Anyway, that's sort of the tone of and that was Adelaide started on that tone, and they continue to bring that tone.
Fuck, the Ask TGC was sensational, Adelaide.
It really was. Melbourne. Well, unbelievable.
It's one that's going to be hard to beat because a guy's come back and he's told the story about his dad having a bigger penis than him.
Yeah, so thank you to those who came from Melbourne, and Adam Zampas, one of our best ever guests on stage.
Zamps he had some stories.
Yeah, in particular the Travis Head impression. But
Genghis Khan.
Well, no, somebody asked. Oh, now you've said it. Somebody asked like a pompous and involved question about how there was a compliment. It was about how Zampa and Head were the owners of the Asian century, given that India had kind of conspired to win everything with the World Cup on the field and off, and Zampa and Head had kind of conspired otherwise. So
they father India,
something
as
like
people
that.
say on the internet. Yeah.
That's right. Travis had fathered 11 Indians. I believe. I'm just repeating the meme. Not saying I agree necessarily. I'm just saying the meme says that Travis Head is the father of 11 Indians.
Yes. That's before you get into the Cummins cabin stuff.
But yeah, he just said, "Oh, look, so which one of you or Heady is most like Genghis Khan?" And Zorb was a bit looking at me like, "What the fuck are we going to do with this?" And I was like, "Well, tell us about how Heady might respond to a question like that." And I mean, you shouldn't do impressions, but as you said earlier, who's Genghis Khan?
Well, he couldn't even make test team of the year, old Binlid. So
couple of teams of the year knocking around. Couple of teams of the year knocking around. Always a good conversation.
Some would say it means fuck all. Not for me. I live and breathe that kind of stuff, Pezza. Shall we talk about the Boxing Day Test match though?
Yeah, I felt like it would be good to just briefly look back on what that was. A couple of comments have been made since as well. Yeah, well, we've done our dailies for it, so people can listen to that sort of shit if they want. But a little bit has emerged in a wash up. If you will, not to be confused with another thing. Never wash anything down.
What'd you wash it down with? Cab Sav?
Yeah. So I bought a really nice bottle of red for the wife and I a couple of days ago when we were in Sydney, and the sommelier brought it over and said, "Oh, this is a beautiful one to wash down." I was like, "Oh, well, not anymore." Fucking tipped it over my right shoulder. Thanks very much. A little bit of wash up. I thought, is it cricket director Mohammed Hafiz in the press conference afterwards?
Yeah, what's his
ruining. Sorry, what did he say? The inconsistent umpiring and the curse of technology in the game. Yeah, which I really liked because we should be thankful for this from Hafiz because that provided just the perfect opportunity for Australians all to contort our mouths. Now, just trying to imagine the Grinch, it's Christmas, it's been Christmas season, the Grinch, but it's only one half of his mouth. Okay. To start talking about extras and drop catches.
Oh, here we go.
That's right. Yeah. Maybe have a look at the fucking 52.
Another foreigner coming over here. Right. Yeah.
Trying to fucking shell a couple of slips. And by the way, just within that, we hadn't mentioned this in the dailies, but I caught the Mark Warslips masterclass that they were doing before play. Did you catch it?
I caught it.
Yeah.
Unlike Junior.
And I guess the conceit of it was that he dropped a couple of catches, difficultly thrown by Michael Vaughan. And I'm sorry, but I was like, even in the diving that he was doing, he still got it for me. The move. Yeah, I'm just talking about the symmetry of movement.
Yeah.
And you could tell it bothered him that he hadn't caught it. But the symmetry of movement for me was still.
Slept in 3 days.
Yeah, I still felt like a privilege to be able to see it move.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Even well into its 50s.
Oh.
Anyway, so
poetry in motion gear.
Shout out to June. So I like that from Hafiz. So we could all get on our high horse about that.
I feel like he wasn't that wrong with it. I just feel like he's, I think you just need to tweak a couple of words here and there.
No, he's fine. He's doing his job. I thought Pakistan brought their fucking game to Boxing Day. They brought some of their best shit. Pakistan were together.
Wasn't enough, but all the best.
Of course, no. And I can say that because we won.
Ran the boys close.
Oh, very nice to be given a game where they sort of got close, but it was still fucking arm's length.
170 at the G. 170k at the G over 4 days.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I like the sound. I was listening on the radio on the way up, driving from Sydney to Melbourne, going home, and I was listening to the radio coverage, and every so often when there was a good moment for Pakistan, you could hear the faint but raucous sounds of the Pakistan fans.
Yeah.
And you can imagine watching from Pakistan's perspective. That could have been something very, very special for them. They were watching.
Totally.
They don't win tests in Australia, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So I felt that atmosphere. I thought it was very good. It was, again, nice to have them at arm's length.
Yeah, totally. Now, when I say Hafiz wasn't wrong, I just feel like, just things didn't go their way with the DRS, with the umpires' decisions. I think it was a Imam in the 4th innings where he was given not outs 2 balls before umpire's call would have been then given out and then reviewed it. Umpire's call out. There was a couple of ones like Mitch Marsh left one and it was umpire's call. Steve Smith had one as well. I don't know. It's just one of those things where like it just didn't quite fall their way. But also what didn't fall their way was that they were fucking shit in the field. So, you know, but like it's given Australians a wonderful sign off for the year. Was like, oh, another opposition team, moral ashes, you know, Mohammed Cave World Cup, best team didn't win it, and now it's like, well, technology's shit, and it's like, bathe me in this. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Drink it all in. Yeah, thank you.
Because it was getting a bit annoying that, you know, like Shah Massoud saying like, even though we've lost, it's the best cricket wicket I've played on ever. It's like, okay, the magnanimity. Nearly got there.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Christmas present before the game.
He's nice, isn't he?
He's nice. They're a together team.
Yeah.
Pakistan.
Nice bunch of guys.
It's great. Yeah, really nice bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Okay, mixing a couple of guys in their Quicks Bowl sort of 120s. But
all the best lads.
And, you know, bit to work on there when you're out here so in terms of the lengths. I like
to see a bit more running between the wickets, a bit more intensity, a bit more intent at the crease, Pezza. That's what I like to see.
Right. Yeah. And I'd like them to...
do they really want it? You know what I mean?
want them to manufacture field positions that I agree with. I haven't seen any yet in 20 years, actually, of watching teams away from...
Have we looked at a catch and cover?
Yeah. But you're right. I think Australia now is moving in, and perhaps it's because there aren't like as many immediate stories where Australia's being challenged. Australia's had a year of like the toughest challenges you can get.
Yes.
India away, England away, World Cup away.
Yep.
That's a top three.
Yep.
Now, could be South Africa away, but we just don't play them. But anyway,
No.
And so Australia's now moving into this in terms of the narrative, like the dad's army phase. They're getting old.
Right.
Marnus is the youngest at 29. He had turned 30.
He's the youngest player or whatever. Yeah.
And I'm hearing a lot of like, where will a lot of these players finish in the annals of the greats? Of the greats, right?
Yes,
and so we're into this kind of conversation.
Fun conversation. Yeah.
Like
who do you like? Who's your guy?
How does Cummins compare to Lilly?
Oh,
you know, that kind of shit. Is Cummins in the all-time bowling attack?
Yeah.
Does Cummins play against Mars? Mars have an 11 now. You know, I saw this. I saw this in the 9 papers.
Okay.
You know, and you got to remember, Mars is dry.
It is
and
dry,
Cummins can bash the wicket.
It'll
Do you take 2 spinners to Mars? India had 7 players of the year, probably bringing 2 or 3 of them. You know, I haven't had sex in 6 months.
Yes.
That's the sort of the area that we're in with the Australian team.
Yes.
And then we're into like, there's going to be a lot of retirement soon. You know, when can we get guys moving on? Like, how do you kind of... how do you sort of do that sort of, what do you call it, like continuity shit?
How do you feel about the like do you want steady change to try and make this team continually good for the next 5 years? Because for me, like, I'm living in the moment where like, fuck, this team's good. And it's just going to be the best. Like, it's so similar to when Warne and Langer and McGrath retired.
Langer sort of tacked himself on.
Yeah, just jumped. But
3 greats retired.
but and then we were shit for like 10 years. But Australian shit, you know. But like I'm happy right now with having a fucking great team.
Yeah.
Like, just a really good team.
Yep.
And I think I can just about live, can I, with some mediocrity. Like, so I'm going to be really harsh here. Like the Bollinger, Hilfenhaus, Siddle years, you know? That's really harsh, but you know what I mean? Like, it was just a little bit.
And will you live with that mediocrity in full knowledge and consciousness that it was because you indexed hard on the
you
veterans?
Know what? I had some good times.
Yeah, but you won't though, because you'll just be like,
shit. What
the fuck's this shit?
Fuck's this shit.
Got rid.
Xavier Doherty.
See,
so harsh, isn't it?
I think I know what I want.
That's mean.
Yeah, but that's what we are.
That's why
we're mean and ignorant and greedy and entitled and selfish.
Yeah.
And that's why we're the best.
Fuck, we're good. We're the fucking best.
Except that we're not happy. Now, so these are the people that, you know, most are suggesting will be retiring.
Okay.
Right? I want to X's and O's it.
Oh, okay.
Warner. Okay, we know that's happening.
Yeah.
Usman.
Yeah.
Next couple of years.
Same age, 37.
Yep.
Yeah.
How's his eyes going? You know,
how are the eyes?
Smith, 34 years of age. Interesting.
Yeah, okay. In the bracket.
Stark, 33. Just come back playing the IPL. Okay. How's the old body? How's the old rig?
Yeah.
Nathan Lyon, people suggesting, and others are saying others.
Yeah.
And Josh Hazlewood, right?
How old's Hazlewood?
32.
I'm okay with Hazlewood at 32. I think he's got...
So what I'm saying is the next cycle, really, for Australia, having gone through this year that they've gone through, is really India and England at home.
Yes.
And they're the two big series.
And then get rid, put your foot through it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the boys done.
I think they're all going to want to be there for India because
next year.
Yeah, next year. Because they want to knock them off.
Big time.
Right?
Yeah.
Obviously not Warner. I think there's a decent chance you're going to be looking at Usman, Smith, 36 at the time.
Yeah.
Stark and Hazelwood going through to England.
Yeah.
As in playing England at home.
Yes.
And bowing out there. Now, look, I don't know what these blokes want to do.
Yeah.
If they're bowling well, those guys, then play on. Smith the same. Each of them, New South Wales cricket products, SCG test, epic. Yeah. So I'm not. They'll obviously do.
They've been the fifth test match of the Ashes.
Fifth test, SCG. Right. They're all like they'd all be. It's Dad's army.
Yeah,
it's definite Dad's army.
And then you get into your cash in after T years
for them, and also where's Test cricket at then as well? You know. I'm just saying those guys are going to be quite old. I reckon they're going to want to do India and England. Like who wouldn't want to bow out against England? Let's call it 5-0. Okay, we'll call it 4-0.
Yeah.
4-0 SCG, Cricket New South Wales products.
Yeah. Yes.
I think Lyon will push on for another cycle after that.
Australia only plays 9 tests this year, which is significantly less than most other nations. I think like there's about 5 other nations playing way more than that. England's playing 17, India's playing 15, I think. So not a heap of work for a lot of the guys in Test cricket, I suppose. But so I'm looking at the guys being like, England,
who might go on beyond that? Like, I don't think anyone's suggesting Usman's going to go on. Like, maybe it's just if I'm a scoring runs thing. But what are you looking at for Usman there? 37?
39.
39?
By the end of the Ashes in 2 years' time. Yeah, 39.
Opening the batting at 40. Facing Mark Wood potentially.
Fuck that.
Smith be 36.
Yeah. See, it's funny, isn't it? Because like lots of these guys have earned the right, haven't they, to pull up stumps.
Totally. Yeah, Smith. I guess it's conceivable. Smith has another.
Mate, what's going on with Smith for the last 3 years? Has been there's been some whispers.
Yeah, it's weird whispers.
Maybe he's going to retire this year for 3 years.
Very strange.
Yeah, bizarre. And then he
sort of like it's whistle. It's like you're hearing people mention it when no one else was talking about it.
Right.
Kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised. And older guys as well.
Yeah.
And it's there are no agendas against Smith. No. So it's like, are there high level whispers?
Yeah.
I'm
high level whispers.
High level whispers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it seems to be like if you've played 75 plus tests, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You've been part of conversations at least Fortuna Court. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But then I can't imagine a bloke more wedded to cricket than Steve Smith. So what is it? I don't know. What is that?
It's a great, but what is it?
Stark and Hazelwood, I'm just talking. Look, Brody went on to 36, etc.
Yeah.
Those guys might keep going.
Jimmy Anderson's 41, So I think the interesting conversation, because Cameron Bancroft's been quoted in the media, there was obviously a conversation. Dave Warner was asked about who he
we want to do this,
think was going to replace him, and then he said, well, I think Harris is probably... And look, I think that probably is the most likely. But what's more interesting to me is that Cameron... I don't know when we next get to see Cameron Green play in Australia, for Australia. I reckon
I do.
Yeah? You got it? West Indies?
Next test.
This test match, as in the Sydney test match?
No, I don't mean that he's going to play the Sydney test match. Right. I mean after Warner retires.
Oh, okay. They'll get him in.
Well...
because my point being because Mitch Marsh has been the best player basically since he came back in almost. Well, he's been very, very good is the point. And he played an innings in the Boxing Day Test match that I think that Cameron Green has it in him because he's got such a high ceiling, but I've never seen it.
It's not there.
Never seen it. He played a very good innings at the SCG against India 1 year, made 70 or something like that, maybe in the third innings. That might ring a bell, but. Mitch Marsh is the actualised product at the moment, and he is every bit in the best 11 players, best 11 cricketers in the test set up for Australia. So, I just wonder, how do you get Cameron Green in? He's not that young anymore.
On the Warner thing, the whole brouhaha about anointing the next player.
Yes. Jamie Cox is very upset.
Well, I think I like what Jamie Cox says, but... it was funny because halfway through the year, Warner said he thought it should be Renshaw.
Did he?
Yeah. And then the other day said it should be Harry. So I'm thinking like, there's only one other player hasn't said why. But like, I don't think it's really great to essentially be, saying a bloke's who he prefers after he's gone.
Yeah,
so like whoever
there was
comes
a way
in
to answer
will
that question.
know. Yeah. But like, when has Warner been anything but blunt? That's just how he is. He also prefaced what he said by saying it's up to the selectors, just as he did when he was talking about his own retirement. But anyway, he still made the point. So the idea of him anointing is like bad faith exaggeration, which is a tattoo on my lower back. But next cab, I don't know about you, but I feel like a dog listening to Andrew McDonald, who is emitting a higher range of audio frequencies about this, like whistling in a high-pitched tune that they're looking for the 6 best batters.
Yeah.
By saying things like, over the last 30 years, 50% of openers. Did you catch this? He said, I think it was with ABC. I'm sorry. It could have been with SEN.
Right.
Sorry. That over the last 30 years, 50% of openers in Australian Test cricket have come from non-traditional opening backgrounds. So Australia's been woke on openers without realising it. Yep. But like, and then so I went and had a look.
Okay.
I didn't bring, yes, and I didn't bring my exercise book over, and that's also what I call it. But there's probably an argument that Australia's current openers aren't specialists, like weren't specialist openers coming through.
Is it?
Yeah, and I did go through it, and he was right. He was right. It's been like something like 20 openers or so, and it is about half and half of like who really was has always been an out and out opener, and who was a converted opener.
Right.
And within that, however, like what we're really talking about is like guys who are top order bats, who might be a 3 or a 4 in first class cricket, who then went to open the batting because that was where the spot was. There aren't that many guys who went from like 6 to 1. You're looking at like Shane Watson there, or Joe Burns debuted at 6 for Australia. Yeah, okay.
Interesting.
Greg Blewett started at 6 and then was a 3, then went to 1. There are guys who've done it. Like Justin Langer was a 3 who went to 1. Simon Kadich was a middle order bat, top order bat who went to 1. Mark Hussey went the other way.
Yeah.
The thing is, and I think that matters as well, the idea that you can, if you are in and around the top order, you can make that adjustment. So, and I just say, just one more thing I want to say about it is that, so this is why I'm saying, it seems to me like, unless McDonald is playing games, which like he doesn't really seem to do, he seems to be softening up the public or conditioning the public that is their style of thinking, and also noting historically that has often been the thinking, that very much it's a 6 best batters thing. I notice people are saying it's going to be a real a real blow to the credibility of the Sheffield Shield if they don't select a specialist opener for that position. But I think people forget that like Cameron Green scored a fuck ton of runs in the Shield as well. It's not like he hasn't graduated or shown his quality at that level.
Right.
He just did it a couple of years ago and would have outbatted the current competitors at that time. I just wonder if they are looking, and in response to the question about to McDonald about basically the entire Australian entire Australian batting order saying they don't want to move positions, McDonald said like, well, a lot of them will just do what's best for the team. So I just wonder if we're looking at like one of the top order bats, maybe Marnus opening the batting to get Green.
Because I can't think it would be Carey. I'd be surprised if it was Carey.
I don't think
so. You're looking there at like Marsh, Head, or Marnus. Those, because Smith is not going to do it. So but like when I put myself in their position, and I'm so happy, and my dad's there, and it's nice, and I just think about like if I'm told that I have to open, I'm moving in. I've been moved in my position because they want to get Cam Green in. Fuck, I'd be upset. I would be upset, because all those guys have performed so well in those positions. Like if Mitch Marsh is the one that gets moved, it's like, I've just come in and I've fucking done the absolute business in this role. I've made this position my own. I've been one of the best players in the team, if not the best player in the team on occasion. So it's like, and then you fuck him off basically to open. Now he still gets opportunities, obviously, but he'll be desperate to play test matches, as they all would be, because it's like, well, you either do that or you're not in the team. Travis Head, he's been so great at number 5. Player of the tournament, player of the final in the World Test Championship final, and the player of the Ashes, wasn't he? In the last home Ashes.
Home Ashes, yeah.
Sensational. But I guess he also has done it in India. Open the batting in India,
once,
so it's probably most likely him, isn't it?
Yeah, don't know.
But for him, I'd be like, opening the batting in Test cricket, I'm pretty happy at 5, mate. If I'm honest, like
the thing with Marnus doing it's probably the least amount of change directly, but it's also the impact on everybody else shuffling, or at least
who would bat 3 then?
Well, that's an interesting question as well,
because Cam Green wouldn't bat 3.
Don't know. I do think that
Cam Green's a 4.
I think long term they want Green at number 4.
Yeah,
and I do think 4. A lot of Australian teams have probably shuffled the order a bit more than we like to think. We like to think that it's a settled team all the time, but I'm not sure that that's always the way. And I think Andrew McDonald is signalling in these conversations that though players may have their preferences, they don't always get them, and I think that's quite normal in cricket teams as well.
Right,
we just
that's true,
because we put a lot of credibility on the players and their agency and their power, particularly when they're going well.
Yeah.
We tend to think that they don't get a lot of what they want, but I think mini negotiations and preferences play out in cricket teams all the time. Who bowls where from what end? It's
right.
a more common thing than we probably see. So. I don't know. I'm just following what Andrew McDonald is saying, and I've got to say, I'm kind of I was sort of excited by it. It's not without risk, that kind of thing. I would like to see if they can get Cam Green into the team scoring runs, and probably not at 6 because that's Mitch Marsh's position. I think he needs to be up the order. Particularly having learned what he revealed the other day
about his kidney
kidney disease, where it was fairly clear that the more work he does on the field, the more drained he is. I mean, if you have Mitch Marsh on the side who's actually able to bowl some helpful overs, which he seems to be, more overs than we expected with his rig, then perhaps he doesn't have to bowl as much, Cam Green, and he can bowl a little bit impactful and bat up the order and do what he's probably best at, which is scoring runs. But the thing is, you move guys up the order. What if it doesn't work? Then you're shuffling again. Are you basically setting in train a whole bunch more shuffling?
Yeah.
How much pressure is there on Cam Green to score runs, given he's made all these great players move positions?
Mitch Marsh is 32. That's young enough. He's got another couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
I've decided.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? In the context of this summer, it's but what next? When? How do we make the perfect fantasy team?
Yeah.
I suppose they are interesting conversations anyway, but this is all very serious.
Yes.
Before we get into the third test and Warner's farewell, generally speaking, Pezza, I want to thank our dear sponsor, NordVPN. Pezza, do you ever get frustrated that you cannot watch certain live sports events because they aren't televised or available in your country?
Yeah.
Okay, good. With NordVPN, I can switch, or you can switch, or you know what? Anyone can switch your virtual location to a country that is showing said sports event. I want to watch it so I don't miss out and can watch the action live. You can grab, you know what? I'm just going to tell you the tracking link, nordvpn.com/TGC.
Yep.
What you get is it's a huge discount. NordVPN plan plus 4 months for free. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. NordVPN.com/TGC. Thank you to NordVPN for supporting TGC. Let's talk about the third test match, Pezza, the Sydney test match. Probably a bit of rain knocking about, but it's Dave Warner's farewell. He's also announced today. Was it today that he also said he's sayonara-ing? That's not a word. The ODIs as well.
Well,
so his job done. 6 points in a song. ODIs getting out of here.
Well,
last test match.
I'm just reading from News Corp. Warner did leave the door slightly ajar to answer an SOS for the World Cup, if asked. I think it was Champions Trophy, World Cup. Save our souls.
Save our souls.
But it's a retirement from ODIs as well. So again, I mean, really, we've known he's retiring for a long time. And really, we're like where we're at vis-a-vis the Captain Cook.
Do you know? do you know what? I'm looking at Warner's performances, and now I'm like, you know what? Now is the right time for Warner to finish it. I think he's actually timed it perfectly. He's obviously got 100. He's obviously got 100 in Perth there. Double 100 last summer or whatever the fuck. I thought he did a good enough job in the Ashes, but now's the time. And get the
Do you
feeling.
want to talk about him? Like, just talk about him as a player, or
I don't give a fuck. He was given a really nice reception at the MCG when he walked up.
It's a sports mad public.
You know what? I've forgotten about that.
Yeah.
It is the sport.
You forgot about
it?
I was reminded a lot.
He was given a nice reception when he was walking off. And I suppose you would expect that. Like, he's not going to get fucking booed. But just based off that, he's going to get a really nice reception when he walks off for the last time in the final test match.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works, isn't it? Because he's been a fucking great player. 3
formats, second most runs for Australia across all of them.
Second most.
Did it in style. Right. 26 tons in Test cricket.
Fuck, that's heaps.
3 World Cups in both formats.
Yep.
Interestingly, the 2 arenas he couldn't solve, which was India and England away. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
They're the ones Australia didn't win while he was in the team, which suggests to me that, while it means he won't ascend to the fucking uppermost echelon of greats. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like the uppermost.
Yeah.
Australia's winning, essentially was very correlated to his success. When he dominated something, Australia won, which, that's the mark of a really good player. It's not what you can achieve individually. It's like, do you win matches for your team? He won so many games for Australia with the bat.
I very rarely win any games for Australia or my team generally.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally.
You've won a few podcasts for us, I think, with your performances.
yeah.
Live shows.
No awards.
Yeah. No player's player.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. But, so you have, his numbers and his attainments have been drowned in the more important question in Australian cricket, which is what's he like as a bloke? All right? And, that matters to a point.
Is he going to be put on any money,
Plenty
is his
of
face going to be on money? I
want to suggest to you, here goes, and I will.
Please.
That plenty of our heroes growing up have not been subjected to that same test as Warner has been.
Right. Yeah.
I want to tell a story from the live show. We had Zampa there, and he was asked by a member of the audience essentially that question: what's David Warner like as a bloke? And I believe the question was it was teed up so that what's Warner like as a bloke landed like an obvious punchline. It being funny because the answer was, going to be controversial, but Zampa, who had been very forthright all night, continued to being he's fine. He was one thing that stuck out to me about what Zampa said in the show was he said he buys lots of beers, and I know that's only a really, really small thing, right? But it's very difficult to be a really shit bloke if you buy lots of beers, for people who also are in a position to buy beers. But even if you're not.
Bit of bunch knocking about.
Yeah, but I don't think Zampa's suggesting that's why he buys beers.
No,
he's saying he's a guy, and he says he's a really good team man. There's a lot of things that Warner does within the team. He organises or washes whites. So, honestly, he talks about this, does things like this that we don't see. Now, I'm not trying to sports wash his reputation.
Because of the Saudi involvement with the Warner family.
And our involvement with the Saudis.
Of course, yeah.
I just think Warner's been a little bit of a chameleon. I think people easily forget the environment that he came into in Australian cricket at that time, hyper masculine, hostility precondition for success. The Australian way on a PowerPoint presentation being WTBC. Watch the ball, Carmichael Hunt.
Yes.
His personality is naturally precocious and hyperactive. He's responsible for his own behaviour.
Yeah.
For sure. And not everyone who came in the same time as him has behaved the way that he did. Yeah. But I do think that it doesn't operate in a vacuum. There is some context to it. So, yeah, I think he's been a great. I think he's been a great for a long period of time. I think that a lot of the what's he like as a bloke chat is overdone. But
it's part of the high criteria, high threshold for success in Australian sport, generally speaking.
All the sorts of people we want as greats.
Yeah,
what we want them to be like.
Yeah,
really, it's narrow. I think we don't deal very well with personalities outside a narrow corridor. I reckon.
Can they go to Noosa on a holiday with a host of a television program?
Well, I always thought Clark was hard done by with that. What you need to understand. Oh no, wait. Yeah. I don't know. I remember just a story about him in just sort of put myself involved here, get myself involved. But,
what does this mean for you?
Yeah, 2000 and what was it going to be? 2000 late 2008.
Pezzo, are you playing ones?
Oh yeah, right. No, this wasn't about me, but a mate of mine who let's say Bawley.
Yeah.
It's Tigers v Easts. Warner's playing. He's a gun already, and he's batting 3, I think. And my mate Bawley basically bowls 125k an hour left arm swingers.
Yeah,
and
he's got a lot of good players out East time.
Blew the front pad off, and and look, we were just carrying on, not because of one, like we were like at the time it was doing celebrations like 1950s cricketers. Perfect. So that meant like you had to all footballers. So it meant you had to put both hands in the air and jump up and land on 2 flat feet. So there was, you weren't allowed to go like you. It was either that, it was like jump up and then you had to walk with your hands in your pockets and then shake hands, grip and rip, strong, eye contact.
Yes.
And then a couple of months later, I was around Bawley's place. We were like 22 or 3 or something, and just laughing at Warner, like playing against Dale Steyn at the MCG, and just the difference within that, and he just bombed Steyn everywhere, just to underscore like what an absolute gun he was, and what a good bowler Bawley was actually. Which is really what I'm trying to.
Sort of the main point,
trying to get to.
Anyway, that game starts in I guess 2 days' time as we're recording this. Is that the 3rd of Jan?
3.
Yeah, I guess we're now starting to get into people knowing what day it is, which is disappointing for everyone involved.
Not for me.
Let's talk about India women, Australia women, the Test match.
Hang on, could we just quickly talk about the SCG test itself? Like, what's coming up with, like, there's going to be rain discussion.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to that?
You know what?
Should they hold it there?
In the flat, of course, In the flat summers like these are, basically anytime it's not India or England, and then it rains, it does hurt. It does.
As a Sydney sider?
No, I just mean it hurts the sport generally speaking. Obviously, there was a delay in the Test match, the Boxing Day Test match, because Richard Kettleborough was stuck in a lift. So just again, completely normal sport. No one knows what time the games finish or when they start, how many overs are left, how long is left. No one knows these things. So again, very accessible. So like when you're playing like in a low summer as these are, and then like you get a wash out of a Test match when it rains for like 3 days, whatever. It's like, I feel like it does hurt the sport, hurt the city. I don't know. I mean, like, as Sydney siders, well, previously, I suppose.
A lot of people are pretty keen to line Sydney up as it is.
Yeah, but like when you're from Sydney, you don't give a fuck about anyone else.
That's right. That's part of the pantomime.
Yeah.
That the whole country is involved in and plays.
That's right.
We all know what we're doing.
So what you're asking me is like, do I care? No, I don't give a fuck about anyone. Why didn't the crowd turn up in Perth?
Are you prepared? Are you prepared for people to castigate?
Is it going to rain?
There is some rain. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
I think on a couple of days, you're looking at 55% or so. Well, first day or two.
Okay, so what you're asking is like, you can sledge your own family when someone sledges your family's like, whoa, okay, cool thy jets there when you're talking about my hometown.
To be fair to the rest of the country, though, as I think you were getting at there before.
Yeah, trying to.
As you were sort of attempting,
bumbling
because
around.
I sort of am just straight at the point where I'm talking, is like people in the nation are so hungry right now for cricket. Because we don't know what day it is.
Yeah,
footy's at an all-time low.
Yes,
like we are. We are fucking walking from room to room, as we've said before.
Yes.
Like we're fucking dealing with a 10-day hangover.
Right.
We're all 100 kilos and the fattest we've ever been.
$1.20. Yeah.
And so I think part of people's frustration is like, is there momentum for the really hazy cricket season
right
is being interrupted by rain, and then you get all of the like a peripheral like shoulder programming that happens at that time, and it just every time you see shoulder programming on TV, whatever it is, you're just like, this is not what I want,
right.
And just like just vistas of Sydney looking overcast with white covers on and rain splashing on. Like it's just not a good fucking optic.
Yeah.
Like it ruins the vibe.
But if that's your wedding day, it's actually good. It's actually better for photos.
It's actually really good for photos because the light.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then you're going to get like flow on articles about Adelaide. Look at they just had the fireworks on for New Year's Eve. Yeah. So I just want to
in Kuala Lumpur.
SCG has a dual issue with its own pitch. But I'm seeing articles. So the pitch has been, well, actually, again, the News Corp headline was how SCG will bounce back from embarrassing disgrace. Which is
fucking hell.
Which is
that's so aggressive.
It's good. Which is really quote like wide ranging quotes from its curator Adam Lewis, who and so this is a nice read. Like none of us really know how to curate a pitch in any way or know what we're talking about. Don't have a fucking Scooby-Doo about it. But Adam Lewis talking about like shaving some stuff and then putting 30 mil of fresh bull eye on, and then some acronyms, and you're like, now I'm feeling good again. The last game. Tasmania were bowled out for 68 and 20 odd overs, but that can something happen. Like that. Yeah. But I don't know if it was that many overs, but but that can happen. That was getting some stuff ready. Yeah. So are we looking at the SCG with like a new kind of complexion? Is it gonna be offering bounce that's different to what we've had before?
I feel like the last good SCG test might have actually been against Pakistan. The game when like Hussey and Siddle batted for ages. Was that before
couple of
the Graham
ago?
Smith one where like he broke his hand and he came out?
Graham Smith was
SCG had a good couple
2009, 10 or 11, whatever that was. That was around that time.
Yeah, because it's the Pakistan game the one I'm thinking of when Horrocks won the game for Australia.
Right.
And then that was also the same time when like the Monkey Gate series.
08.
08? No, 08 was it? Yeah. Same sort of time.
In our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of drinking and a lot of not knowing what year it is.
Exactly, or who the players are or where they were playing or what the sport is. So I feel like SCG had a good run there for a little bit, but I feel like there hasn't been a good game at the SCG for a minute. Is that right? Oh, I suppose the Ashes when Anderson blocked out the last ball. Was that a good game? I suppose it was a good game.
Yeah.
Is cricket good? Do we like cricket?
Yeah, so... Yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Hey, the women won the ODI series over there in India, but they lost the test match. Are we livid? Are we upset? Are you upset?
Well, this is at the point where we go like, well, what you need to understand about women's cricket is that the white ball format is actually the primary format, right, and they're still trying to get themselves across the test format. It was
the test match was good.
Yeah.
It was a good test match.
Yeah.
India won it
and we might get some more now.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? They won by 8 wickets and then they chased 75 in the fourth innings. My takeaway from that was Beth Mooney just blocking one to bat pad and then just walking around. That was actually my entire intake of the test match.
You should ask her what was occurring.
What's doing?
It was one of the. It was a good like India like home test match because like your team makes 219, then they make 406,
right,
and then you just make 200 odd again. Yeah. But when that inning starts, like on the third innings, like you're cocking your head, going like, if Mooney and Perry and Mooney walks out of her crease, and then Litchfield's reverse sweeping one, and Pez getting strangled, and it's just you keep cocking your head, going, I think no, and then you just lose
because the ODIs. I mean, the white ball is the primary format, right?
Of course, but there's still 3 T20s as well. Oh, there's another ODI.
But the test match was a banger. It was a great test match.
Yeah.
And India played really well and they deserved to win the game and they did win the game.
Yeah. Dusted England as well week before.
Oh, smoked them, yeah. I think we spoke about it on the last podcast we did. But so are they going to play more test matches now? Is that what you're saying?
I think there's moves afoot. Nick Hockley said some stuff over the Boxing Day test about that as well. And I think that BCCI are keen. I sort of talked to them. They said, we're keen. That was the one.
So last night? No, it was the 30th of December, a couple of days ago. They won the second ODI by 3 runs. They defended 258. India just fell short with 255. There's one more game. There's one more ODI game.
They dropped like 7 catches, India. It was a drop-a-thon. Australia dropped a couple as well, by the way.
Yeah. It wasn't any good, but then there's 3 T20s as well after that. So if Australia lose any of those games, that's going to be really upsetting. No, it actually is interesting because we spoke last time about how important this year is for women's cricket, or for the Australian team especially, but just, I mean, all the teams generally speaking, because the World Cup being in Bangladesh in September, October, T20 World Cup it must be. And so these conditions, whilst India is actually a different country to Bangladesh, not many people know that, but it's actually a different country, and the conditions actually aren't that similar because it's a different country. No, I mean, they are sort of similar. So like Australia's preparation leading into that, they actually do play against Bangladesh in a bilateral series before the World Cup. But it's good signs though of Australia's playing well in the subcontinent, because these conditions are relatively similar to Bangladesh, is my point.
Yeah, man. I mean, whatever. As long as they just need to keep winning.
Keep winning.
Yeah,
stop
at all times.
Hey, South Africa absolutely smoked the Indian men's side, which will mean that India still have never won a Test series in South Africa.
They're calling it like I wasn't aware of this, but like in India, this is final frontier stuff.
Yeah.
Which is sad that ours isn't, because they just decimated us last 2 times. So.
Yeah.
I
can't wait to get you.
It's just a frontier.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
yeah.
it's just a
place you go.
It's just a walk.
So the second Test match starts the same time as the Sydney Test match here in Australia. But South Africa won the first game by an innings and 32 runs. Dean Elgar, who's obviously announced his retirement, he made 185 in the first innings. He was absolutely sensational, as was Marco Jansen, who scored 84. He was next top scorer. He's a fucking great cricketer.
And threefer.
Mate, Kagiso Rabada has about 287 wickets. Now, obviously, Pat Cummins went past 250 Test wickets, averaged 22. You think that's pretty good? Rabada's got a better average, 287 Test wickets, I think. And then Bumrah, who is also playing the series, I'm not sure how many wickets he's got, but he averages 21.
Yeah.
So like, you're looking like, at the moment, the 3 best fast bowlers in the world bowling at the moment. Now, England obviously have their own very good bowler, but I think you're looking like absolute primo, top tier, grade A, top choice meat.
Yeah. Bumrah 132 Test wickets, it says.
Okay, so we're looking at
games.
Bumrah, Rabada, Cummins, all playing at the same time, of course, in different series. But fucking hell, Rabada's good, man. He's such a good bowler. He took 5 for 59 in the first innings there. KL Rahul scored 100, so that's nice for him, I suppose.
It was a great ton from KL Rahul. Came in at 4 for spit.
Yep.
It meant nothing in the end, I guess.
Yeah, all the best
other than a ton. Yeah. I noticed there weren't, I want to talk in a second about this, but there also weren't that many views of his highlights on Star Sports. Don't know why.
Hey, Kohli made 76 in the third innings of the game. They bowled out for 131, and that meant that South Africa didn't need to bat again.
But he also did the bail swap thing too.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. He did the bail swap thing, and then Brody tweeted saying, "Did you do it with any success?" So it was very good.
He's good, isn't he?
Yeah, swapping the bails there.
Second Test match is in Cape Town, starting in 2 days' time. As we are recording this, Pezza. Now's a good time to talk as well, just generally speaking, about South Africa's squad, which they've announced for the New Zealand series.
Just on the Test itself.
Yeah.
A lot of chat in India about whether a lot of their young guys who are coming into the side now struggle if they're not on flatties.
Yep.
You know, I think there's a general thread throughout all of this about how what's changing within cricket is how it's impacting Test cricket. I know we're about to talk about this with South Africa's squad as well, but I did note that was a fair. There was a fair weight of criticism for Indian bats, new bats, guys who are newer to the side, struggling on South African decks, which it can be really difficult to score runs on. And I did see some criticism that that the deck looked doctored or whatever. It was like South Africa's made 400 first innings, but Elgar's made 185.
Yeah,
I really liked. Has there been a more grizzled Test match face than Dean Elgar?
No, I don't think that's me, mate. Not since Border.
The cap sits on his head so nicely. From a Test cricket perspective, he can draw a lineage from that umpire's cap in Forrest Gump, all the way through. That 1900 stuff, all the way through. To today, and then I even like the way he rubs his sunscreen into his face, Dean Elgar, and the way it sits over the stubble.
Yeah,
there's a lot. I don't know. I just think if you're coming up against that in Test cricket, it's that's what that's what That's like what a rival looks like in Test.
I would have liked
cricket
him
dreams.
to be more ugly when he scored his runs, because I'm not saying he was the most graceful, Hussey-esque cover drives and stuff, but like he wasn't. He also at the same time wasn't the Graham Smith school of crabbing across one's crease and just.
I'd say he was closer to Graham Smith than
much closer to Graham Smith. Much closer, but I would have liked to just a little bit more grit, because the face is grit, right?
I love it. I like the whole package, and he's going to lead him in the next test because Bavuma's out with a hamstring. Strange thing with Bavuma in this game.
Yeah,
he was chasing the ball to long on or some shit, and early on and long off, and and he did his hamstring. Then like they just wouldn't tell the journos for the rest of the game what was wrong with him.
Yeah,
but it's a string.
Weird.
So they did it with 10 South Africa. They're also without Nortje and Ngidi.
They're quite good.
Quite good players. And I just thought the Centurion had a great vibe for this game. Like, again, we're going to get onto South Africa stuff, but like, looked like carnival-esque, super sport park, just like quite a lot of people. And I like the cricket that South African decks and conditions produce. So, you know that it's not really going to be for spinners like that much.
Yeah.
But, the ball just flies, and if you can apply yourself, you can score runs. So I don't know. I thought it was it was really good to watch, and then also it has this bittersweet effect to it as well, because you're like, not getting a whole bunch of this from South Africa for various reasons.
Well, it's a shame the sport's dead, but I thought they played well.
I was trying to look at highlights of the final day on Star Sports on YouTube, but they weren't genuinely. You can't get it. No, or at least whatever my YouTube is, perhaps I need NordVPN for this, right? But like I could not find Star Sports are the rights holders.
Yeah,
I could not find highlights to the final day or final moments of the game where Rabada was going through them.
Yeah,
I could see KL Rahul's runs.
Yeah.
I saw Kohli's runs.
He's a good play. Yeah,
I saw Jansen's runs, to be fair.
Okay.
And Elgar's. But I couldn't catch I couldn't catch the end of the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what that is. But to be fair, he goes you might say Rabada Alpha India, but that's MI Cape Town's Rabada.
That's correct.
So who really is the alpha?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, to that end, should we talk about the squad that they've announced?
Yes.
For the New Zealand series, which is a 2-test series, it must be, because South Africa only played 2-test series these days, which is
that sucks.
Fucking grim. And many people already know that they are basically taking, to call it a B team seems ridiculous, because basically no contracted player can play in this test match, because they'd be playing in the SA20, where they are required to play in that competition, because that is the premier competition of the sport in that country.
How does it feel? How does it feel to be selected? Like, you'd have to think it's fucking gold. Surely.
What's the captain's name again?
Brand. Neil Brand.
Yeah. So he's debuting, and he's a captain. He's got the armband. First person since someone in like 95 or something like that. I can't think of what it was.
There's a couple of guys who've knocked around as well, like Dwan Olivier, like Keegan
Peterson. Yeah. Like it's not dreadful. Like, these guys can play. They can play the sport. That sort of 2s, 3s, probable. But yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, is it like you're playing 4s, doing okay? Maybe you average 22.
That's the best case result. Yeah, best case result.
And you get called up. Like, are we playing 3? It's probably 3s to 1s. This?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like playing 1s away at like a pretty good team.
I wonder if they're even playing their first class competition at the moment, or if they're playing their white ball stuff at the moment.
Fucked if I know.
No, I don't know either. But
yeah.
But like,
Elgar's retired.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I wouldn't have thought so,
I'm
boys.
good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think what it'll feel like for those guys.
I don't know what to make of it. Like,
yeah, is it you're kind of like damned with faint praise?
Yeah.
It's just like by playing, confirming that you're no good.
Yeah.
At that level.
You will not play in the premier competition. You're going to play test cricket.
I don't know. I think the truth is, if you're playing in that, you're like, I get an opportunity that others wouldn't have got, and maybe I could score bulk runs or take bulk wickets and announce myself on the stage. I have actually always been good, and I should play for my country.
That's probably the case with pro athlete brain. As I understand it, South Africa has never lost a Test series to New Zealand,
right?
Home or away. That's
really,
yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So New Zealand,
they are the real rivals of rugby.
Indeed. So New Zealand now going to be like, well, it's going to be a bit awkward if we lose this one.
How's New Zealand feeling?
A couple of clubbies. Got so many good players.
Yeah, but it's clubbies. It's threes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and then obviously this squad announcement has given rise to a lot of analysis about, capitals, what it all means for cricket. And it's exactly how it looks. Like this is how it gets degraded. I do think that it is in a state of flux at the moment. It hasn't kind of settled on what it's going to be or what Test cricket is going to be. I think there's a lot of really big questions that are barely even being asked. Like, what does international cricket mean to India? Down the track. Yeah. Especially if they keep getting dusted when they want to win. But I think Australia and England. Like, I've seen some people kind of calling for South Africa to be condemned or penalised, for this kind of thing. But I just think that doesn't see the wood from the trees about why and how
these things happening.
This has come to be.
Yeah.
I think Australia and England should be careful, lest they be next. It mightn't be in the next, 5 years or 10 years, but there's trends. Like, I don't know how there's a really good piece from Dan Gallen, who's a friend of the show, about this on, he wrote it for The Guardian a couple of months ago when this was kind of forewarned. But you can't talk about this scenario where South Africa's playing threes and fours without discussing how the big three carved it up for themselves those years ago, and that there's been no regulatory or systemic structure put in place to assist the sustainable financial health of all nations that make up what Test cricket is. But capitalism's going to capitalism. Isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think Australia and England, I don't think Australia and England's marking time, but if nothing happens or this trend continues, they'll be eaten up one way or another soon enough. I think the big threes, then it's just going to be it's not even the big three, it's the big one. And then the BCCI's main fight on its hands is IPL private franchises themselves. That's going to be, that's a bigger fight systemically. IPL franchises do not need to act in the interests of long form international cricket, only insofar as it somehow assists the reputation or of its own competitions. That's before you even get to Saudi Arabia, which is obviously bleak, but that's how monopolies behave in the system. Once you just get massive monopoly, you just operate accordingly. I'm glad that Alex Carey sort of fixed his right shoulder alignment though, in terms of right arm bowlers around the wicket. So
just wanted to take this moment to shout out our sponsor, visitsaudi.com. You can use the code TG.
If you accept, just a final thing, if you accept the T20 leagues will so monopolise a finite calendar through unspeakable riches, 365 days in the year, more and more T20 leagues that have bulk cash at all costs and all times, that get guys to commit to them rather than Test cricket. And it's not just South Africa. Look at what West Indies are bringing out. Their best players play in these leagues.
Yes.
Trent Bolt, when he can, for good reason, follows that as well, mainly. Doesn't it follow that, eventually every country will reach this tipping point unless something is done, unless something changes? The calendar is being bought up and monopolized. People this is a scheduling issue. It's not scheduling is the result of what people's attitudes are to these things. And at the end of the day, these leagues are for whatever reason, probably because of private money, just are a fucking steam train, rolling up to a bike. Something has to change. Otherwise, I do think that we must be moving towards some kind of imposed test window, so the club v country thing will be complete.
Because the IPL just carved out their own window. They just carved out their own window where no other cricket is played.
That is growing.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And you look at the World Cup happening in the USA and the Caribbean, or indeed the Caribbean, midway through next year, where that is now pushing up into Major League Cricket, starts straight away, which is cutting into the 100, having their own privatisation conversations at the same time. You look at the Big Bash with the ILT20,
and the SA20.
And the SA20. Jesus Christ.
The SA20 doesn't have the T in it.
I like the Big Bash. You look at those like three different competitions at the same time. I think the
IPL wants to carve out another couple of months during the CPL.
Yeah,
let's talk about that.
Yeah,
in partnership with Saudi Arabia for a T10 comp.
Scheduling issue, mate.
Well, that's the thing. People are like, oh, it's a scheduling issue. Like, you can create your own fucking schedule if you've got bulk cash.
Exactly.
And then competitors don't go up against it because they know that they can't compete on cash.
Yeah.
So,
do you know what, mate? Like this conversation is exactly the reason, as I was saying like 45 minutes ago, about like, am I enjoying this team?
Yeah.
Because like it's going to be so fucking different in like whatever the next generation of team is in like 4 years' time, whatever. So like, because the like cricket that we get to see in Australia, like if you live in a city in Australia where you can go to a ground to watch your team play cricket, you get one chance a year just about. This is like probably the last. This is the last team. This is the last team you may get to see, like in this mold. So like, I feel like at the moment, we're obviously like so privileged to get to like go to heaps of games like here and abroad as well. But like, mate, fuck, it's good. Like, so I think I'm appreciating this at the moment. Now, like when it all changes, I'll be upset and we lose a game, then I'll call for effigies, which is my right.
Or just go to T20 cricket. So
I go to the Big Bash.
We'll talk about that soon.
So what's my point?
I hear a lot of.
I don't know. I
hear a lot of like or read a lot of suggestion that like so say with South Africa, which we spoke about a year ago. Like I do not judge. I don't judge what the decision they've come to.
No.
Really, I'm sure there's we know there has been administration failure in South African cricket. There's administration failure like across a lot of cricket a lot of the time. I'm sure it's got its own degrees and stuff like that. But again, it's like what I do kind of get a little bit of crow's feet at, and South Africa have said this, but other countries say it too, and I hear it a lot, particularly from the proponents of like private T20 franchises, is that that the additional revenues from these can actually help sustain the long form game. I mean, I'd love that to be true. And I hope that's true. But I mean, again, businesses with P&L, like chief P&L concerns, will assist the long form game only insofar as it helps the short form game. Yeah. And at the moment, it seems to me like you're better off chucking money at like new competitions. They haven't stopped buying up the board yet.
Right.
So like I'm just. The old like corporate comms spin doctor hat comes on when you hear people go, oh, this is actually going to be good for the game. This actually puts money back into being able to sustain long form cricket. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Seeing heaps of teams get heaps shitter at test cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to that end, in a similar mold, talking about scheduling, Steve Harmison has questioned why England are only turning up 3 days before their first test match, which is the end of January. They play a 5 test match series there in India. England, I actually don't know where the first test match is. Do you know where the first test match is?
No.
It's the end of January. I think it's the 28th, I want to say. And Steve Harmison said, well, why are you turning up 3 days beforehand? Ben Stokes has said, well, hang on a second, Army. We're in Dubai for a bit first.
Good job we're going to Abu Dhabi for a training camp before we go to India for even more training before that first test then, isn't it? That's what he said.
1-0 Stokesy.
It's again. You can't do him. You can't do Stokesy, can you?
You can't do it. Yeah. That is going to be a fucking raucous series, and we will be covering that here at TGC. But yeah, again, scheduling stuff. So whilst we're in the neighbourhood of Indian cricket, generally speaking, I should talk about the IPL auction. Mate, so much has happened since we last convened. This time of year, it's been 10 days. We couldn't do one over Christmas. I mean, come on. But bit of bunts talking about for the boys.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the thing, isn't it? Like, he'll be buying the beers.
Oh,
he'll be buying the beers.
But Spencer Johnson went for one. His pockets are pretty heavy. Help me.
I'm hyperventilating.
I'm having a stroke. Yeah.
I think Travis Head went for a fucking snip at whatever he went for. It was like 1 point something million. We went to Sunrisers, obviously. Now, how do you feel about Head and Cummins at Sunrisers? How do you feel about that? Because
not a big market team.
I wanted them at one of the big boys.
Not a big market team.
There's three big boys in my eyes.
Yep.
Mumbai, Chennai, Bengaluru. Those are your big three. Okay, RCB, Chennai, Mumbai, and I like my boys there.
Yeah.
Sunrise. Look. David Warner's captained a Sunrisers team to a victory in the IPL. So like they do have some heritage there, some success in the annals. But still a bit like, I want them at fucking like a blockbuster team, you know, or a blockbuster.
I want them at a blockbuster.
Getting a VHS.
What do you think about? Look, I agree. But maybe, I don't know, you and I started following the IPL like 3 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And
it's the Indian Premier League.
And since then, the Sunrisers have been unders in a lot of ways. It's been like Warner didn't perform in the first year, then they like controversially got rid of him, and now they've blocked him online or some shit. And then like, they've like some coach stuff that was going on, and they're just not really like giving us much.
They picked up Harry Brook. He scored one amazing 100, then couldn't get above two.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But before then, Sunrisers have like lit it up. So maybe Heady can, you know.
Yeah.
Good result for Cummins, I would have thought. What do we think about Stark at Kolkata Knight Riders? Is that doing much for you?
Yeah, it's doing something for me.
A little bit more.
Yeah, I can see him in purple.
Yeah.
Purple and gold. Anything with gold in Indian cricket, like I like the gold.
Yeah, the gold trim on like the Guernsey or the gold lid.
Yeah,
love to get around that.
I'm into it. Yeah,
I imagine turning up to like club training in Australia in a gold lid.
Yeah,
yeah.
Not many in your half. I wouldn't have thought.
No.
Stark. I like it. I like it at Kolkata. Yeah,
I still wouldn't have minded one of them going to a real big market team. I know Kolkata's good history. I like it. Like there's a bit more.
They've won it a couple of times. Yeah, Cummins won it a couple of times. But but isn't it weird talking about transfers in cricket? I feel weird about it.
Did you prefer the IPL auction or the mock auction?
Now, did you watch both?
Of course, whole family.
Didn't you? You watched? No,
I didn't watch the mock auction.
You didn't watch the mock.
I watched a bit of the IPL auction. Yeah. I didn't mind it.
And you said it was good.
It wasn't bad. Yeah. I noticed online, like, a lot of RCB fans unhappy.
Why?
I think it was like just spending money. Like I saw them keep getting referred to as an unserious organisation.
I like that.
Yeah. Which I think people don't understand. That's that's part of the brand. You know what I mean? You got to get around that.
It's chaos. They are the all-star team, and they've never won it.
Yeah, but the way the ordering of the auction went meant that like a lot of teams had spunked their bunts before Starkey got involved. Yeah. So and only it was Kolkata and someone else who just went toe to toe.
Have they blown their wad?
Yeah, they'd blown their wad. So
hey, Stoinis was good in the BBL last night.
Was it? Yeah. I got some BBL stuff.
Now, I want to know your relationship to the BBL so far this summer. Are you blobbying it? Are you blobby? Walking
it's not. But it's more like that's more of a function of the season of my life at the moment. I think like I have like the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak for me on BBL.
I want to get around it.
Right. Well, you got more free. Like I would have thought you had.
I do have more free time.
Yeah.
But,
no, I don't mean free time. I mean freedom. Like I don't mean to
the furniture company.
Yeah, you've got more freedom furniture.
I've got furniture in my house. Yeah. I'm spending so much time watching the test matches during the day, and then obviously we're working after that, and then because I feel like the Big Bash. I've said this for a little while that I feel like it needs to be the centerpiece of our summer. Like that's my ideal scenario.
Like what South Africa's doing.
Look. Yeah. Without having a plan to it. Yeah. I suppose that is what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's why that SCG test conversation's interesting is because I think, again, the big secret in Australian cricket is that like Aussies are really tuned into cricket for 4 legs of the year.
That's right.
So you want to test within that period. Otherwise, you're on the shoulder.
That's right.
Yeah.
But like, so I want to get around it, but like just how my life is working, I don't watch it.
Nothing for you.
No.
Yeah.
And I suppose it might be a factor of like I can only watch so much cricket. I feel like we spend a lot of time watching cricket, which is our job, to be fair. But yeah, like I sort of watch the test matches. I'm engaged in the test matches. I like the test matches. That's my jam. I like T20 is good as well. I've got a place for that for sure. But like I don't know. Like at the end of the day, I'm turning it on. I don't have an association to the franchises or the clubs or whatever. And I don't know. It's highlights for me.
If you're watching on YouTube, I really like how like this light is like continually lighting up like the worm used to on election campaigns when the crowd likes what you were saying. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's still been some good stuff. Like I noticed the Sydney Smash, they call it.
That's what they call it.
The Big Bash and the Sydney Smash.
Yeah.
Very violent. Had a sellout crowd at the showground there.
Yeah. I saw Copes a tweet the other day and he said numbers have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, crowd attendance has been good. 40,000.
New Year's Eve Adelaide, same thing. Scorchy's got 40,000
40K.
the other day. So people are going, but and I get like again, like I'm sort of looking at highlights. I'm not in a place in my life where I can even like sort of have it on and be walking past. It's just not how it's worked out for me this summer so far. Could change. I've seen stuff that I'm familiar with seeing, like Chris Lynn going to tier 2 over Cal there.
Yeah. 206 is the Big Bash. Yeah.
Should we talk? I mean, there's the Tom Curran with with some how you going stuff.
So it's just perfect for the summer. What's he like as a bloke?
Yeah, that was a what's he like as a bloke thing, and I thought he answered that pretty clearly.
And so did the franchise themselves.
So did the franchises themselves. That was a massive miss. Anyway, They tried to save it, the Sixers, like with a much more earnest apology afterwards.
But it's contradicting the apology by being like, look, we're sorry. And I am going to challenge their decision. But so, like, are you sorry?
I thought that was bad optics.
Eagle swinging a miss.
Extreme how you're going. It should have been like Packham unreserved apology immediately before the appeal.
I like what Moses was saying about Tom Curran. Like, I think my understanding is anyway that like what Moses said about Tom Curran, good guy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think what he was saying was good, but it was just like, I think you just got to take your licks. And I think you just read the room, boys. Just like, you know what, no good. Going to cop the 4 games. We're good to go here.
A little bit of context and stuff. So, man, you just called an umpire a fuckhead. You can't do that. Sorry, what?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You can't. It's a disgrace.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
This woke bullshit. I blame Cummins.
Yeah.
The fucking coat.
You got to be real careful, Tom, because, I've got an 11-year-old and he's now going to the game and he's doing that before the game.
Somebody think of the children!
Imagine if
I beat me missus.
11-year-old was doing that. I saw Spencer Johnson hit Alex Hales on the penis, and so that was
all good.
That's some virility.
Yep. Yes.
Maybe not.
I saw Brad Haddon say that Chris Green shouldn't bowl. Then he bowled the next ball and got a wicket.
Yeah, good. Glenn Maxwell says Jay Fraser McGurk doesn't have a ceiling.
Perfect.
Concerning he should have enough money for that.
Yeah.
Just waiting.
Hasn't got a roof over his head.
He's got a roof. That's very concerning. It's an interesting one, though. The first thing I thought when you said that was, no, he's got the floppy. He's got a big old roof. I'm laughing more than I want to be laughing at that. So the one that I've seen, I don't know if it's just knocking around Victoria, but
sorry, Greg.
There's a bit of chat about like what's gone wrong with Victorian BBL teams. Have you caught any of that?
No,
or
I haven't.
Catched?
I haven't catched
because I'm in year 5.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of editorials knocking around. I've seen seen some SEN stuff. Nick Cummins, CEO of Cricket Victoria, was interviewed with Gerard Whateley at Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Ben Horn did a piece in News Corp about it. So has a piece on it. Yeah, I swear that's got to be a segment. How's the piece on it?
We just read.
Well, or just get them in and discuss their piece. How's the piece on it?
G'day, Ben. How's the piece on it?
How's the piece on it? No, there's the editorials knocking around suggesting that like Cricket Victoria really mucked up. I mean, Gerard Whateley called it a black eye on Victorian cricket. That the year or the immediately following Renegades and Stars in the final, which is a great final there at Marvel.
Yeah.
Cricket Victoria dissolved the independent boards of both franchises, brought them under the Cricket Victoria umbrella, and the both sides have really like lacked a lot of identity since then. So what Victorians and Melburnians are really pining for, and this is kind of serious but also is funny, is, you know, the days where, you know, James Brayshaw was the president of Melbourne Red and Eddie Maguire was the president of Melbourne Green. Now I don't want to get involved in this stuff from a family perspective because it's not my family, but like if the AFL stuff is what's needed to get the Melbourne teams going, and I don't understand it myself, it's not. I don't jive with it. Like I don't sort of see Eddie Maguire saying some provocative stuff on Triple M and go, "You fucking beauty," or talking about lists and fixture without the S on the end and that.
Who was the Stuart Dew? Wasn't it? Went to the Ashes. Yeah, was at the Ashes.
That's right.
Got himself a little Guernsey there. Yeah. More AFL and cricket. Well, especially down here.
But I mean, Stars have won 3 in a row, so. Who knows? Maybe they're cracking on. But I also noticed Craig Hutchison with SEN saying, starting to talk up that perhaps they do need some private equity into the BBL and getting the IPL teams involved. And Jeff Lawson wrote an article in the Sydney papers about that the other day. So again, are we looking at some high frequency whistling? Are there high level whispers?
High level whispers
around private equity? You want some money coming into that sort of stuff? Again, it comes back to, you know, is it going there anyway?
Just talking about play, because last night's game was fucking electric. They chased, the Stars chased 220? 204.
5, yeah. Stoinis came in and went bang, and Slug.
And Slug, so Slug was who I was going to talk about. He's had a great summer. He's had a really good summer because he got himself a Guernsey for the PMs 11. Yeah. He's also been fantastic for the Stars so far, who obviously haven't been sensational, but he himself has had a great summer. I don't know how old he is, but I don't know if he's like if he's having a sniff around higher honours.
Well, PM's 11 would suggest so. So many all-rounders knocking around, aren't there?
Yeah, I suppose so,
He's 30, Slugly.
Okay.
Anyway.
Why are they calling that?
I think I answered that last week, didn't I? I just said it.
That's right.
Anyway, so the table, top 3 teams, Heat, Scorchies, Sixers, have opened a gap over the chasing pack. Strikers, Stars, Thunder, Renegades, Hurricanes, all fighting off for 4th. They've only just hit the turn, really. Most have played 5 or 6 games, 10 game season, so things can happen. James Vince in the press saying it's a big week for the Sixers. I'm sure it is. They all are. Yep, they all are. Exactly. So good luck to the BBL, I guess.
It is hard to talk about it when the games like you start the conversation, then like 2 games have already been played by the time you finish the conversation. So I
thought we said there's some good stuff happening in the BBL. Again, it's ripe. The BBL's ripe for something. So again, someone's got to get the old claws over it. And
I'm annoyed at myself that I'm not in it as much as I want to be in it.
Yeah. I find this, can we, off script stuff, but like, I find it hard to, this is probably not everybody else's experience, to be honest, but like in between, like, you know, trying to spend some time with the family over the holiday, like, watching Test cricket is in the DNA, like, or if not DNA, like heavily conditioned to that. Like, that's like my favourite thing to do.
It's like circadian.
But it is circadian, that's right. And it is my favourite thing to do, like over BBL.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it. And I'm trying to see some family. We've got some work to do. Like you're trying to watch the cricket, have a few compelling thoughts if possible, and sometimes that's not possible. You're trying to like
put on 8 kilos.
See people. You're putting on kilos. You're having a few beers,
I'm
and whatnot. Mate, all of a sudden I'm $130, $140. Don't even want to look at it. You can't open your mouth anymore when you talk. But you keep going, and you know, like, and then I don't know. For me, you got dinner, bath, bed with the kids, and then you're fucking rooted. You know, they've rat fucked you all day, and
mate, they've absolutely rat fucked me.
Mate, I am. Try and do the dishes, put the house away. What am I going to do? Like, am I getting the laptop out, opening it up, a little bit of like water splashing on the laptop while I'm doing the dishes? I'm probably listening to something, you know. Just I found it difficult. Anyway, it's just maybe the next week, maybe the back half of the BBL will work. Maybe. Yeah. Or we are literally doing live shows next 3 days, but
that's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be hard to watch the BBL.
#TGC. is brought to you by Ponting Wines. pontingwines.com.au. Use the code. You already know it. Say it out loud right now wherever you are. Say it out loud what the code is. Get a few for 20% off at pontingwines.com.au. Use the code. Say it with me. Get a few for 20% off.
I enjoyed plenty. Once again, $1.40.
We've had a little dabble at the old Ponting Wines recently around the old studio there.
Yeah.
And like, I find it difficult to sell it because it's, if I say like it's good, then people are like, yeah, is it?
You're just saying that.
It's fucking good. And not just good, it's fucking good. What's your favourite? I like the Shiraz.
Yeah. Full-bodied Shiraz. I brought some to Sydney. Oh, I should say, there we go.
Here we go.
So on my dad's side of the family, you got 20, 30 at Christmas, and a lot of uncles, cousins,
$1.20.
Catholic family, yeah. And they do what we do as Secret Santa.
Yep.
And I received a Ponting Wines hamper.
No, you didn't.
I did.
That is awesome.
Ponting Wines hamper. So I got a red, I got a white, and I got some Ponting Wines socks.
What? They have socks?
They do. And also within this pack was like
on the website,
artisanal gourmet little chocolates. You know,
that is sensational.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
Impressive.
Yeah, I didn't let. Well, I don't know who my Secret Santa was.
I see.
I've been sent several cases, but
I see.
It was enjoyed. In fact, I think you came over and enjoyed one of those bottles.
I did actually. Yeah, that was good.
With your lovely partner Laura, who met Tori for the first time, and Tori in turn her.
Don't you say a fucking word about my wife.
Have you got some news?
No, I just wanted to see what it felt like.
How's it feel?
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand why you said that now to Sarwan.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Don't you say a fucking word about my wife. Is it fucking or fucking?
Fucking.
Yeah. Yep. You say a fucking word about my wife. It's a powerful little, like 2 words at my wife. I don't have the ownership as well.
Yeah, yeah. My wife. How many fucking tests have you played?
Yeah. What do you think is better to say?
That feels amazing.
Where is that story?
That feels amazing.
If you're new to the show.
It's a good story.
I was new to the show, yeah. A couple of years ago, I was at the Sydney test and was regaled this story by someone of the generation. Like we're talking maybe, we're probably 40 years ago, possibly more. A guy that had played for Australia had got home and this was being told to me. So you're in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s here, I think, something like it could be early 70s, I don't know. Yeah. And you got to imagine right here, like I'm in the SCG members. It's just fucking chinos and RMs for days.
Oh yeah,
we've just finished a day's work or something, right. And it's fucking tall crown lagers.
Yes,
as far as the eye can see. Right. Puce faced Sydney blokes. Yeah. Roaring,
faux gentry.
Oh, yeah, that's right. New Sydney money.
Yeah.
Guys who are going to go to a Maryvale establishment after this, kind of thing, and and the fucking guttural roar of private schools over generations, and this guy was telling me, and that this guy got home. This guy's maybe in his 50s or his 60s. He's played for Australia in his time, and he was he's copping grief from the wife. He's copping grief from the trouble and strife. Trouble and strife. Our ball and chain. He's had a couple too many beers, and his wife's giving him grief. And there was only one thing to do. So he trudged on upstairs, took out the item in question, took his clothes off, walked downstairs and faced his wife directly, square on, with nothing on but a baggy green on his head, his baggy green, and just said to her, "How many fucking tests have you played?" I'm sorry, it's for if you knew. I'm sorry if you've heard that before. Oh man, that is,
that would have to feel amazing.
Exactly.
Me think it amazing.
If you
that would have to feel incredible.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's a good story because it captures a lot, I think, of Australian cricket culture.
Yeah.
But I can't. You think you're being sardonic about that kind of stuff and like woke scolding it in some way, but there is also a truth that would feel fucking amazing to have the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
Let's say. Yeah. It would be amazing to like swear at your wife nude with a baggy green in your head. But if there is an understanding between both of you and that's okay, you got to understand the privacy of this institution. Some of these things are all above board.
Privacy of the institution.
Well, hey.
Fucking hell.
Anyway, Ponting Wines.
.com.au. Use the code GETAFEW. And she actually played 7 tests. That was the funny thing. Hashtag RCDC comes from Dan. It starts off by saying TLDR, 6 and out, actually an elite time. Larry David moment from Gilly, who was spectating. TGC moments meets rock gig, great combo. You're probably aware that 6 and out played at the Espy Hotel last night in Melbourne. I was looking to fill the void between Xmas and New Year's. I'm a transplant to Melbourne and my social circle tragically only contains people from the city I transplanted from. Yes, it's Canberra, and they were all out of town. In an effort to get out of the house, I decided to go solo.
Hey, come on.
I got there right on time. 7:30 p.m. thinking a band of former crickets.
I hope he meant to write crickets and not cricketers, because we're from the great crickets.
The great crickets might actually start on time. I was wrong. When I got in there before the band started, it was everything TGC taught us to fear it would be. A dimly lit scattering of sad, cagey, average-looking blokes, all a bit unsure of what to do.
What? Hang on. Just to be clear, I don't think we said anything specifically about that being the clientele at a 6 and out gig. I don't think we said anything about 6 and out, did we?
I remember ever having a conversation about 6 and out.
Just in case others are listening, going, we've been sledging 6 and out. On the contrary,
no. I think he's talking about like being in a social circle,
right?
But in a social setting,
any social setting,
and there's the sad, cagey, average-looking blokes all around. But not sure what to do. I think they played the whole of Bloods, Sugar, Sex, Magic by Red Hot Chili Peppers while we waited. So that's a fucking great album.
I thought it was saying 6 and out played that. Well, if I'm getting involved now,
no.
Anyway, I don't think it's what I'm saying. It's just saying. I think this is
that was pretty. Yeah. Some strange kit, inverted commas, on display, such as New South Wales Blues NRL jumpers, red and blue leather dress shoes, and a ACB era cricket top matched with pearls. Okay. One guy had a Pete Murray tour shirt that I was actually kind of jealous of, but the crowd started to build and the vibe lifted. When they got on, it was straight into No Secrets by the Angels, and it was awesome time. And it was awesome time from then on. Chico, who was lead singer, got the crowd into it. At points, he would point people out and kind of mad dog stare at them. It was kind of rock and roll, horny in an Alice Cooper way. The people were into it. There was Oz rock classics.
Eddie's right.
Can't bowl, can't throw. Pop punk and some Rocky Horror Picture Show. They got Howie and Isagua on stage at one point. Also in the crowd was Gilly, Mark Waugh, Michael Vaughan, and Peter Hanscom. They took and break and mingled with the crowd. All the crickets, bands, and guests were very generous with their time. There were some other people there who I assumed were media types, as they were far too attractive and well-dressed to be normal people. I had this great Larry David moment watching Gilly at the bar. I was standing next to Gilly. The bartender passed him a cider or something, and he politely said he asked for a Coke. It was loud. Okay. The bartender got out a tall glass and started to fill it with ice when he quickly interjected and asked for no ice. Totally fair. Those tall glasses have next to no liquid of actual drink when they fill it with ice. Any cinnamon goer knows this. Huzzah, Gilly, a fellow liquid maximizer. In a sign of the time, Gilly and Vaughan also took fan photos of their sons with the guys from Marmalade from TikTok. It was pretty loud, so I couldn't get all the cricket quips, but there was a joke about G-strings sweating on stage like the third test in Bangalore. compared to the Brian Jonestown massacre, who got in what the law would describe as an affray and assault with weapon, then subsequent cancelled their whole tour. This show was worlds apart. The bandmates were clearly having a great time together. The crowd was eclectic and danced and sang along. The older crowd busted out some moves, probably last witness at Monash Uni.
Monash.
Yeah, Monash Uni. Refectory circa 1983. They stayed around after and had drinks and chatted. I unfortunately had to work next day, so left after the last song. My only nagging thought is the fact that I wimped out and didn't ask for a selfie with any cricket celebs mean I'm a cool guy with sexy indifference, or a sad, anxious flop, fearful of even a homeopathic hint of rejection?
Oh.
Regards, Dan.
Nice, Dan. Well, at the last one, I think both are true.
So Dan's had a nice time. He's gone to 6 and out.
Yeah.
Went down to the Espy.
Gone to have a look.
Saw the people.
Yep.
Saw some faces. Marmalade, Fawny, Gilly, the boys, Cheeks. He's having a good time.
Yeah.
He's having a good time. But he's saying, like, why didn't they get a photo? I wanted the photo because it didn't exist unless I got a photo on my phone to post on the internet or show to someone who cares. Why did he do that? Why didn't he do that?
Yeah, interesting. Well,
maybe he's a normal guy.
Photo. Yeah, like he wrestled with his own like base level vain desires and realized he's not his thoughts, and just took the correct course of action that is ultimately most moral, which was just to go home, get ready for work, and get over himself.
Yeah.
And realize that a photo wasn't really going to validate the experience that he had. Except that he's probably done more than that by writing into AskTGC something like 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Which I think better captures, to be fair, in a more old school way, better captures the experience that he had. But
it now just lives in his brain. He doesn't have it on a hard drive.
But the thing is, well, that's probably the best.
That's because it's full.
Yeah.
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 His hard drives are full.
His hard drives are full of other photos, but
yeah.
Maybe it's a photo that he would never have looked at again.
Most likely. I went to a Kendrick Lamar gig a year ago or something, and I watched the videos that I filmed that night for the first time last night.
Oh, right. Yeah. And? Glad you filmed them?
Yeah. It was really worth it.
Oh, sick, man.
Mm. Do you think people will clap when Warner leaves? Happy New Year to everyone involved in this podcast. We'll see you guys on the internet in 2 days' time. See you guys in Sydney tomorrow. See you in Brisbane the day after that. Perth, we're coming for you. Freo. Sorry. See you guys real soon. Cheers.